Hey, peoply peeps. So,
What's up?
Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. We saw it again last night for the second time, and just to get right to it, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review.
True story.
Our first ever. I'm totally against spoilers. If you know me, I hate spoilers. But at this point, a spoiler-free review of Star Wars is kind of silly. Anyway, maybe.
It's just more fun to have spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, go away.
Yeah.
We'll talk later.
Yeah. So, spoilers. You've been warned. So, overall, I really liked it a lot. Apart from just a very few minor things here and there that I wasn't a huge fan of, I really liked it. And really, the things that I didn't like are very minor in comparison to the things I did like. But enough about what I think. What did you think?
I feel pretty similarly, yeah. Overall, I really enjoyed it. What are you laughing at?
I don't know.
But yeah, there's a few, there was kind of the whole thing with Finn and Rose that was kind of meh.
At the Casino Planet?
Exactly,
Yeah,
that stuff was kind of meh.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It wasn't awful, didn't ruin anything for me,
No.
but I didn't find it all that interesting.
Yeah.
But it was enough, yeah. But other than that, I really loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Rey and Kylo Ren were amazing.
Oh my goodness, so amazing.
Whenever they were on the screen together, they just, or even when they weren't quite on the screen together, but in different. The Force connecting them and all that was pretty impressive.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
I did too. And in fact, that was my favorite part of the movie. I think that was probably my favorite aspect of the movie. Just Kylo Ren and Rey, but also Luke. I loved Luke in this too. But yeah, going back to what we didn't like real quick because I want to get that over with because it really pales in comparison to what we did like. The Casino Planet. The whole sequence was not bad. None of it was bad, really. But it just kind of the movie kind of slowed down and kind of stopped to tell this little side story at the Casino Planet, and it just wasn't as interesting for us. It didn't feel, for me personally, it didn't feel very very Star Warsy because the casino looked too much like casinos that you might see here on Earth. And so it kind of took me out of the experience. Like, you'd see people like rolling dice on tables and stuff that looked like, what you'd see here on Earth. Obviously, there were weird aliens and stuff there and everything, but yeah. Anyway, it just kind of took me out of it. But again, it didn't ruin it for me. It was a pretty minor complaint, and really, the second time that I saw it, it bothered me less. The only other thing that I had a problem with too was even more minor. Was that some of the humor. Was a little cheesy. It was a little ham-fisted, but I mean, it's really really minor. Honestly, most of the humor worked for me. Most of the humor I found funny, and I don't know. Do you agree?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought they had some good humor in here.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so really that is it, though, as far as the things that I didn't like. Honestly,
I do wish that Finn had a more interesting role, just because I really loved Finn in the last movie, and then in this he just didn't do anything all that exciting.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I guess he did kill Phasma, so that was nice.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Oh, sorry. Anyway,
bashed her in the head. That was pretty cool. But that's about it. That's pretty much the only thing he did in the movie that I really cared about. I
did like Finn's and Finn and Rose's relationship. I liked Rose as a character. I thought that she did a good job acting. Yeah. And she's not your typical hero image. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? She's not super ridiculously gorgeous. She's not homely either, but you know what I mean. Yeah. She's not what you would.
She's not your stereotypical Hollywood actress.
Exactly, but it worked. It worked really well. I really liked her a lot. I liked her character a lot, and I liked Finn too. I think he did a really good job at acting as well. But you're right, he wasn't nearly as interesting in this as he was in The Force Awakens. But the scene with him and Phasma, that whole fight scene was really satisfying for me. It was really satisfying, and also when he was going to sacrifice himself to save the resistance or whatever, when he was going into the cannon thing or whatever. Yeah. I thought that was cool, and then Rose saved him and said, you don't what was it? It was a really cool line. You don't fight.
We're not going to win this by
fighting what you hate.
Yeah.
But by saving what you love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I liked that. I thought that was really cool. Anyway,
I did too. That was a really good line.
Yeah. And so there are little moments like that all over the movie that were just really, really satisfying. In fact, I'd say that this movie had some of the most satisfying scenes, like, ever. This is not my favorite Star Wars movie, but just individual wise, there were some scenes that were extremely satisfying.
Like the fight scene with Rey and Kylo Ren.
Yes. That was amazing.
That was an amazing fight scene. They were really cool together.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was awesome.
Yep. Major spoiler, but whatever. This is a spoiler review, so I'm going to shut up about spoiler alerts now.
Sounds good.
Anyway, so so Kylo Ren takes Rey to Snoke's part of his ship or whatever, and when push comes to shove, they kill off Snoke. Well, Kylo Ren kills off Snoke. And that was a decision that I thought was really bold, really risky, and really cool. At very first, well, I don't know. When I first saw it, I was just like, I couldn't believe that. Excuse me, I couldn't believe that they killed off Snoke in the middle of the second episode of this trilogy, because The Force Awakens kind of establishes him as like the major threat. He's kind of like the next emperor, right? And he has all this mystery behind him and stuff. You don't really know much about him, and you want to know more about him. And instead of learning more about him, they just kill him off. And that really ticked off a lot of Star Wars fans. And I get it. I understand why it did. But to me, it was so unexpected and it was so cool. And it felt so satisfying that I didn't care. It's just like, well, okay, all my theories about Snoke, it doesn't even matter anymore because he's gone, and it was just cool. But
I think Kylo Ren's a much more interesting villain anyway.
I think so too.
Because he's although he doesn't seem conflicted by the end of the movie, which I don't know. It's cool. Yeah. It's cool. Mm-hmm. I like how he was conflicted at first and just how it all came about. And I don't know.
Yeah, no,
it was beautiful.
It really was. I love that whole sequence. And when they, when Snoke's body is cut in half and he just kind of flops over, like, and Rey is just like, what? and then his Snoke's guards that are dressed in red start going nuts on them, and there's this crazy fight scene and stuff. And now I think that is probably my favorite fight scene of any of the Star Wars movies, which says a lot, because there's a lot of cool ones. Before this, I think my favorite fight scene was in The Phantom Menace between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. That was a really cool fight scene. But this one was so intense, I felt like there was real danger in it, and there was a chance that they might not survive. I mean, obviously you knew that they would, but whatever. It was just so well done, and it was so intense and visceral,
And seeing
and it was
those
really cool.
two work together.
Yeah, exactly. I got some major chills during that scene. I really did. It was just so satisfying. Anyway, so that was a cool scene. I loved what they did with Luke. Everything with Luke, I absolutely loved. I thought Mark Hamill did a fantastic job as Luke this time. And
I think all the acting was really great.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone that didn't do an amazing job.
I can.
You didn't like the purple-haired girl, right?
Oh, no. Okay. At first, I didn't. The first time I saw it, I didn't care for her much. But the more I thought of her character and what she was really doing and stuff, the character played by Laura Dern, I liked her more this time. Okay. So no, okay. I liked her more. Anyway, no, the going back to the Casino Planet sequence, the Benicio del Toro character.
You didn't like him?
I didn't dislike him. But he didn't add anything positive to the movie for me.
But because the acting? Because I thought he acted it well.
I guess
it just wasn't a very interesting character.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't the acting so much as the character himself. Yeah, that's true.
I feel like he did a really good job.
No, he did. He did. You're right. I guess it's not the acting, but I didn't care for the character. He didn't add anything for me. But anyway, but again, I didn't dislike him either. Oh my goodness.
Don't die.
Oh my goodness.
He's dying.
I'm dying. No, I'm not. I'm gonna be okay. So back to Luke. A lot of fans didn't like what they did with Luke, and I did though.
So we've heard.
Yeah, and there was a scene near the end when he transmits. What's the word? Not transmits.
He kind of creates a hologram of himself.
Yeah, he I can't think of the word. He transmits his spirit across the galaxy, and he's not really there, and he's just kind of like basically like astral projection.
Yeah.
And anyway, he projects. That's the word I was looking for. He projects his
There
spirit.
you go.
Yeah, he's on the island and he's meditating in the force and everything. And you don't find out that it's his spirit self until later on. But that reveal was really cool. I did not see that coming at all, and I thought the way they did it was really cool. A lot of people have a problem with that because it's like, well, how can he project his spirit all the way across the galaxy or whatever, and
but
how can he do that?
That's exactly what Rey and Kylo Ren were doing.
That's true. When they were talking to each other,
someone else was doing it for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Snoke created that connection between them or whatever.
Yeah.
But also, so people have a problem when it seems in this movie when and also in The Force Awakens a little bit when new aspects of the Force are introduced, and it's like you see people do stuff with the Force that you've never seen them do before, and it's like, oh, we can't do that. But to me, that's silly. Because there's never really been a rule book as to describing what you can and cannot do with the Force. Who says you can't project your spirit all the way across the galaxy?
Yeah.
and yeah, it's a little ridiculous, but I mean, I don't know. I just really like the way they did it.
Yeah, there's always been like specific Jedi that had specific powers. I mean, Obi-Wan could do the whole control your mind thing, like different people.
Well, so could Qui-Gon, but
well, I know, but like it's not
No,
every Jedi could do it. Not every Force user could do it. So why can't there be more stuff that not everyone knows how to do or hasn't tried?
Yeah.
Why can't there be more to discover?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the idea that we don't know. We don't know what all you can do with the Force, I
mean, it's like magic almost. So
Yeah, I mean, it really is.
Why can't there be more things?
Yeah, and there's nothing really scientifically grounded about the Force or really anything about Star Wars, really.
Nothing.
Like when you start complaining that something is unrealistic or something, or that couldn't really happen, it's like, okay, it's Star Wars, and so as long as it's consistent within the universe that they created, I'm pretty much okay with it, unless it's just cheesy and stupid. And I get it. I guess some people thought it was cheesy and stupid, but I disagree. I really liked it, and I really liked the scenes between Luke and Rey too. I loved the scenes when he was training her, teaching her about the nature of the Force, and I loved his explanation of the Force, that it was like the balance between things like between light and dark and destruction and life, and it's the balance. It's the truth that exists between those two opposites, kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I loved that, and I loved the scene where Rey started going towards the darkness, and she didn't veer away because she said there's truth in the darkness and stuff, and I loved it. I just really liked it. And I was so happy with it. And really, okay, so the first time I saw it, I had mixed feelings about some of these elements, but the more I thought of it, the more I really liked it. And seeing it the second time really made me appreciate the movie a lot more, honestly. And there was one scene in particular. There is a scene where we see the Force ghost of Yoda. And he visits Luke as he's about to go up to the... Is it a tree?
It's like a hollow
the remains
tree
of
thing.
the
They call
Jedi
it a
temple.
tree. Yeah,
it was
where the books are.
It was where the ancient Jedi texts were kept. Rey goes off to confront Kylo Ren, and Luke goes and he decides to destroy what's left of the Jedi temple or whatever. But then he stops, and then the Force ghost of Yoda appears, and he sends down a bolt of lightning and destroys the temple. And then Yoda laughs like crazily. And he's like, Luke, how I've missed you, whatever. And Jedi or Luke is freaking out, like, the ancient Jedi texts, what have you done? And blah blah. And to me, the first time I saw that, I had mixed feelings about this scene because it seemed like Yoda was almost out of character. And it didn't make sense to me that he would be so flippant all of a sudden about Jedi history after spending 800 years of his life training Jedi. Now he's suddenly just like, screw it all, like let's just destroy it,
just
kind of
burn
thing.
It all down,
And then the way he was laughing and screwing with Luke, it was just like, it seems kind of out of character, and it seemed kind of cheesy. But
at the end of the movie, we noticed something, or I noticed.
She noticed. Yeah.
So at one of the very last scenes, Finn is like reaching in a drawer to get a blanket out for Rose to cover her with. Well, in that drawer are the Jedi texts.
What?
So Rey had taken them before she left the island,
Yeah.
which means that they weren't actually burning anything down. And Yoda had a perfectly good reason to be messing with Luke because he wasn't destroying anything, just an empty hollow, basically.
It was completely useless.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. Like, he didn't destroy anything important. He just needed Luke to, separate himself from all that and do what he needed to do, and it was great.
Yeah, and Yoda even said, and you pointed this out to me, Yoda even said everything that's in there, or what was it that he said? What was it?
Something like nothing in those...
there's nothing in there that the young girl Rey doesn't already have.
Something like that, yeah.
Or something like that. And he was referring to specifically the Jedi texts, apparently.
Yeah. Originally, you think that she's just talking about her great skill in the Force, but no,
she already has what
the books already.
Yeah. Yeah, you originally think that she already has what she needs to know, blah, blah, blah. But no, it's the books. Literally. And see, I didn't notice it the first time at all. Didn't notice it the second time at all. I realized that I saw the books, I guess, but I didn't really connect that in my mind at all. I didn't think anything of it.
She took him before leaving. Why not?
Somehow she took him, and I think that's so... I love that they didn't specifically really, address that in a really big way, It's something that you had to discover. And it was so cool! That changes that Yoda scene completely. Now I love that scene. It makes perfect sense to me now.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I think it's really funny actually that Yoda was messing with Luke. And it makes perfect sense. I don't know. And it makes me even more excited about episode 9. That really to me is the only clue as to what they're going to do with episode 9. Obviously we know that
Kylo Ren's bad guy now.
Kylo Ren's basically the supreme leader now, and they have to confront Kylo Ren or whatever. But apart from that, and apart from the fact that Rey has these Jedi texts now, and that makes me wonder if she's going to start her own Jedi Academy and yada yada yada. But other than that, I have no idea what they're going to do with episode 9, and I love that. I love that episode 8, for me, doesn't really illustrate to me what they're going to do with episode 9. It's just The Last Jedi felt more like a self-contained movie than most of the Star Wars movies, and I liked that. I loved that they killed off Snoke. I liked that Luke died. I liked the way that it happened too. That he seemed to, the way he projected his soul out there must have exhausted him. That's what seems like, right? But then he also kind of gave himself up to the Force. Rey and Leia both say, he went with purpose, and there was no like sadness or whatever. It was just purpose and what was it? Peace. Clarity. Oh yeah, purpose and peace or something like that. Yeah, and so, but anyway, I loved how they did all that, and I don't know. I'm excited once again to be a Star Wars fan. It gave me a feeling similar to what The Force Awakens gave me, except for me, Force Awakens was fundamentally different, a fundamentally different kind of Star Wars movie. Force Awakens was more purely entertaining and for the fans. There is so much specific fan service, and I think it came at a time when Star Wars fans really needed that. I think it reintroduced us to the familiar feelings of fun and escapism that we loved from the original trilogy, that a lot of people thought was severely lacking in the prequel trilogy,
Yeah.
And so I think we needed Force Awakens when it came, and I loved that they did something so bold and different in The Last Jedi. To me, I thought it was really different.
Mm-hmm.
It felt different, but it still felt like a Star Wars movie, and I loved that. But anyway, yeah. Aside from just a few minor things, I really liked it a lot.
It was a really good movie.
And
not everyone agrees with us.
Not everyone
but
agrees.
We both loved it.
But that's okay. It's okay. I don't need everyone to agree with me. That's fine. I don't think any less of people that didn't like it or whatever. But it's fun to talk about why we did like it.
Yeah.
And I can see, I understand some people's perspectives of the of negativity or whatever, but I don't agree with it. That's okay. So one last thing. I absolutely loved how the movie ended. it goes back to the Casino Planet, which I didn't like, but in the Casino Planet sequence, it introduces you to these kid slaves or whatever, and so anyway, they're trapped on that planet, and at the very end of the movie, we see them again. We see the kids again, and the kid is about to be like bullied by one of his masters or something like that, and he goes away upset and stuff, and he force pulls a broom to him.
He does,
which I did not notice the first time I saw the movie because it's one of those like blink and you miss it kind of things, because it made it look like it was possible that it just kind of fell in his hands just by gravity or whatever.
It got pretty close to it.
It did.
Pulling it
was
him.
it was very subtle, but I loved it. I loved the fact that it was subtle and that he had to really pay attention to notice that he force pulled the broom. So somehow this kid is in the beginning stages of learning the Force, and I love that. And one of the reasons I love it is because here is a character that we know next to nothing about. We don't even know his name, and the very end of the movie focuses on him, and he's looking up at the sky, and he sees one of the Resistance ships go into light speed, and then he has the ring on his finger with the rebellion symbol, and it just ends with him looking up, all hopeful, at the sky, and then the Star Wars music blares and starts up and everything, and I love that ending. That very last image that we see before the credits start, I think is my favorite way that they've ended any of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so awesome. Also, Leia. Gosh, we gotta talk about Leia. Leia was awesome. Well, and Carrie Fisher is no longer with us, which is amazingly sad. And but I loved what they did with Leia. And there was a scene in there that may have bothered some Star Wars fans. I don't know, when she got blown out into space and he thought she might have been dead or whatever, and then she basically force pulls herself in space back to the ship, which is completely ridiculous, right? And I remember thinking the first time I saw it, I was surprised by how much I was not bothered by that. I just thought it was cool because it's established in the original trilogy that obviously Leia is Luke's sister and the Force runs strong in the family, and Luke even tells Leia that there's going to be a time when she's going to learn the ways of the Force and be able to use powers as he has, kind of thing, and we never really got to see much of that. A little tiny bit of it, but not much of it at all until now. And I thought that was so cool. I thought it was, I don't know. I loved it. I can see why people would think it was completely ridiculous and maybe cheesy or whatever, because it kind of is ridiculous. But I loved it. It gave me chills. Okay, and it really, I don't know. It gave me the feels, man. But I don't know. It was just really satisfying. There are a lot of really really satisfying chill moments in that movie, and the Millennium Falcon had some really cool scenes when they were going through the underground salt cavern thing, and the music, and John Williams did fantastic in this. I think this is one of the best scores of any of the Star Wars movies, to be honest. Rogue One was my least favorite score by far. Force Awakens wasn't nearly as good as this one musically, I think. But anyway, yeah. Now I'm just kind of rambling. Do you have anything else to say?
No. Loved it. You should see it again. Hopefully you already have.
Right. If you've only seen it the first one time, I think it seems likely to me that you would appreciate it more if you saw it a second time. I don't know, because we did. But anyway, I give it.
We are the golden rule.
Yes. No. No. I don't think that. I don't. No. Anyway, I loved it. I give it 4.2 Yoda spleens out of 5.
I give it 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 what?
Llama ducks.
Llama ducks. Star Wars llama ducks?
Yep.
Okay.
In space.
Okay, anyway. Yeah. So, yay! May the Force be with you. Thank you for watching, and
good night.
Goodbye.